I think for a lot of women, they automatically assume if you don't showcase them or put them up on a pedestal on your social media or praise them on their birthday or Valentine's Day or anniversary, that you don't love them or that you're hiding them and whatever. It's like all of that stuff. It's just blah, 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 right? Like that's just like the continuous narrative, right? And it's funny because whenever you see it, and I'm sure you've seen this and maybe some of your audience has seen this too, but you'll see it a lot of the time on something like Facebook where a guy will put her up on a pedestal. Happy 4th or 8th anniversary to my beautiful wife. Without her, I'd be nothing. She's my other half. She's the boss. She's, I'm so lucky to have her. I don't know. She's out of my league, like hashtag, like out of my league or some shit like this. And I go like this every time I see that. And then I'll click her social media and there's nothing. It's crickets, right? Wow. Or it's a photograph of her on their anniversary, right? Like not them together, just her sort of thing, right? So that's an incredibly bad look. That's not a good look. And that's something that you have to be aware of as a guy, right? Like you should protect her. You should love the woman. I mean, obviously, if you love her, but you shouldn't be putting her up on the pedestal and worshiping her. Like, if you treat her like a celebrity, she's going to treat you like a fan, right? So if you pedestalize her, but you're not getting anything reciprocated, or she's not even offering that to you from the get-go, it's like you have to be wise about these things and see how these pieces move, right? And manage that as well.
I think there's like a relationship. If you were to put onto like a graph, like the guys that post about their like Valentine's Day, like the more that they post, it's almost like the worst relationship that they actually have.
The weaker the relationship actually is.
Yeah. I actually, me and my wife always joke about that. Like I know guys that are like in horrific relationships, like extremely like negative, like fucking up their life, fucking up their business and everything. But then they'll post being like, oh my God, like this girl's like so amazing. Here's her flowers. Like it's crazy.
I make a joke of it like around Halloween or Christmas where you drive around and you see like elaborate Christmas decorations, for example, or Halloween decorations with a bale of hay and the big like it's all orchestrated. It's very fancy and elaborate. And you can tell that they spent hours, if not like an entire weekend, putting this thing together. And honestly, man, like you can walk by that guy's house and just think to yourself, yeah, they're not fucking. Because if they were, why do they have so much time to put 3 days worth of work into some decorations, right?
Yeah, for sure. And there's this no connection there, because I think a big thing I've noticed from like leaving like the Western world, and I think that'd be an interesting conversation as well, just my observations being in like the East for like 5 years, is that a lot of the things that you see, especially around like Christmas and like celebrating Christmas, if you're not religious, which a lot of people are not, is that it's like it's like a Band-Aid or like putting a plaster over a problem. And I noticed this with like
you'll see alcohol. It with like the Christmas sweaters, like the family photos, with the Christmas sweaters or the Christmas pajamas and stuff like that. And the guy sitting there wearing the most dorky outfit, looking like an absolute clown.
The fucking presents, dude, all that kind of stuff. Like it just shows like the weakening of the relationship. But I think, not to blame the West, but I think consumerism does have a big play on that in terms of like, oh, like you need to have this, you need to like prove to your person that you need that,
or something like that.
Some bullshit, right?
Women love TikTok challenges.
Whereas like for the last couple of years, I've had like no Christmas tree. I've had like no like presents to my wife. We usually do something during Christmas, because in Asia, like they don't really celebrate Christmas. So I might like do like a fucking spa day or something, but we do it together, like, and that's it. That's basically it. So it's just like any normal day. And I don't know. I just think it's very interesting to observe, because I grew up in that world whereby, like super toxic parents, like fucked up relationship, like screaming, abuse, all that bullshit, that it was almost like, oh, Christmas was like when you pretended that everything was okay. And it was 10 times worse, like 10 times worse that way. So I think I've almost had like a reaction to that, whereby I've gone like the opposite. And I'm like, I want none of that. Like none of that. And I think it actually gives me anxiety thinking of that. And actually, it's funny because my birthday is on Saturday, and Elise was like, oh, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, nothing. I don't want to fucking do anything. Why do I don't want to fucking presents. I'm 20, I'm 29. I'm 29 though, as in, I'm good. I'm fine. Let's just go for like a steak in the evening or something,
Yeah.
It's interesting, dude. Some other things I want to really, really want to dive into. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Was you spoke about the anti-fragile, man, and like the different scenarios from fragile, robust, and anti-fragile. What came up to think about that? Like, what was the idea behind that concept? The majority of my guests run content businesses. They've used content as the main element of their business to drive more revenue and build their influence online. Well, we've been doing this through a podcast for many years. We have many guests, clients, and even customers use a podcast as their main source of driving more revenue for their business and building their influence online. And we're offering a handful of spots to book in a call with our team to learn how you, yes, you, can leverage a podcast to generate more revenue for your business and drive your influence online. Many of our clients and customers start from nothing, but each one of them are action takers and they want to learn more about how to build a podcast and a brand right around their business. So if you want to learn more and you're really interested in building a podcast, check out the link down below and book in a free call with our customer success manager, and he will guide you into how you can build and generate more revenue from your podcast this year.
I mean, you can apply the concept to a lot of areas of your life. It's a great book. The book's called Anti-Fragile, and it illustrates how chaos affects culture, society, religion, your life, personally, stuff like that. But chaos is going to come at you as a man, right? Like, there's always some difficulty in a man's life. We always have some sort of a fire to put out. And, the question that you got to ask yourself is, when chaos arrives in your life, do you become better as a result of it, or do you become worse? And if you can improve the circumstances and level up, to a stronger, more robust version of yourself as a result of chaos. Like, you can use COVID as a good example. I during my podcast often drop a call-in link, and people will call into the show and ask questions. And I had a lot of people around that time going, I work for a company. It's a good job. I've got a mortgage and a family to take care of, and they're shoving this untested experimental jab down my throat. I have to take it. My wife's telling me I have to take it, but I don't really want to take it. I don't really see the point. I'm healthy. I don't really need it. What do you think, Rich? And it's like, well, you structured your life in such a way that you're fragile, right? Like you have to do what the College of Physicians says. You have to do what the Upper Canada Law Society says. You have to do whatever the government body says, the military body that you're in. Like, a lot of people just quit their jobs. And I think the people that quit their jobs and moved on was a strong demonstration of, I'm anti-fragile, and I'll become better as a result of this. And many of them did. They maybe started up a business, or they moved on to a better paying job where that wasn't a requirement. But a lot of people, because they're fragile, ended up having to comply, bend the knee, and they did what they were told to do. And some of them are suffering as a consequence of that today.
It's crazy, right? Because that rise from COVID really just proved everything. It really proved, it really showed character. At the end of the day, it just showed true character, like whether you're going to bend the knee and fall over, or like make something of yourself. I think that was the big turning point for a lot of people, whether how the rest of their life was going to play out. And I know
a really good example of anti-fragility, I think you could use the Tate brothers, because they've been hit with everything, and they've only become more popular and more robust as a consequence of that.
Yeah, man. And I think they set the tone for so many different things. If you think about it, they had a huge impact on me. I don't give a shit what people say. They had a massive impact on me. And I've spoken to a lot of their mates. I've interviewed a lot of them as well over the years, and I've had a huge impact. And it's just because I think this is kind of has a nice segue into what you do with meeting up with guys and the community that you've built and everything. It's just that there was nobody there before. We went through that wave of just extreme wokeism. It was just getting worse and worse. It's not that
there wasn't anybody there before. There was nobody as loud before.
Yeah. There was nobody as loud, but the way that they set the brand up was like cool. It was like, oh, like this is like cool. Sure. People can really resonate with it. I guess there's like a lot of guys in isolation that probably you were familiar with or you've seen, but I guess like they just hit the narrative so well. They're like, this is the narrative. These are the pain points. It was perfect. And whether it's engineered or organic or a semi combination of both, it doesn't really matter, because what they hit was completely accurate. There's no two ways about it. It was just completely, it opened up like a massive gaping hole. I think that became such a big you know, you had the War Room, and then one of my friends, Jack, I think you might know Jack Hopkins as well, really good guy. He started New Elite. Then that really started the snowball of, oh shit, guys are super lonely. What are we going to do? Like, literally, what are we going to do about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How have you seen that affect, let's say, even your community and the growth of yours? Because, dude, you've been smashing this for so many years.
Yeah, I started creating communities for men 2016 or 17. I started using Patreon back then, but then I saw how woke they were and how they would treat people that they disagreed with and deplatform them. So I sort of had to build my own ecosystem around it. But I'm always encouraging guys that are asking for it to join my community, right? They're always like, hey, where do I find other strong, virtuous, competent men that are doing something that are influential and successful and da-da-da. It's like, well, you can go and, create your own community and find people and invite them into it, or you can join one. You can buy your way into a room, sort of thing. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.